I picked up my wife's phone to call a client and accidentally glimpsed her messages with my son-in-law. As I read their exchanges, I could hardly believe my eyes. 37 years of marriage, trust, and family life, all unraveling in a few lines of text. My mind snapped into focus. I wouldn't let this go. I started planning. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments what time it is where you are now. The charger cord lay tangled on the floor like a lifeless snake. My hands trembled as I rifled through drawers and pockets, knowing that in 15 minutes, the biggest deal of my career would slip away. "Morris, what's wrong?" Martha appeared in the doorway, dish towel in hand. "Phone's dead. Can't find the charger anywhere. I need to call Johnson about the Madison Avenue property. 8 o'clock sharp." Without hesitation, she handed me her phone. "Use mine, honey. Password's your birthday." Relief washed over me. 37 years of marriage, and Martha still saved the day. "You're a lifesaver." I kissed her cheek as she moved toward the kitchen. "I'll finish dinner while you handle business." The phone felt warm in my hand. Face recognition unlocked it instantly. I dialed Johnson's number, and froze. A notification had popped up, "Dylan, 7:32 p.m. He'll never find out. Documents almost ready." My son-in-law's name glared at me. The message preview was enough to make my stomach tighten. I should scroll past it. Respect privacy. Make the call. Instead, I tapped the thread. 3 days of exchanges between my wife and my daughter's husband opened like a wound. Every message twisted the knife deeper. "Martha, Monday, 3:15 p.m. Are you sure about this? What if Morris suspects something?" "Dylan, Monday, 3:18 p.m. Trust me, I've handled dozens of these cases. He won't see it coming." "Martha, Monday, 8:22 p.m. Timing has to be perfect, after the Madison deal closes." "Dylan, Tuesday, 11:45 a.m. 60/40th split, just like we discussed. You get the house, retirement accounts. I get my fee plus the business assets through Ruby." "Martha, Tuesday, 2:13 p.m. Ruby doesn't know anything." "Dylan, Tuesday, 2:15 p.m. Nothing. She thinks I'm working late on a corporate merger." "Martha, today, 4:30 p.m. I feel terrible lying to her." "Dylan, today, 4:33 p.m. It's better this way. Clean break. No messy emotions." "Martha, today, 7:28 p.m. When do I file?" "Dylan, today, 7:31 p.m. In a month. I'll have everything ready." The phone trembled in my hand. 37 years of marriage, raising Ruby, building a life, and now I saw them plotting to destroy it. Footsteps echoed from the kitchen. Martha was returning. I closed the thread, heart hammering, and put the phone back on the counter. She rounded the corner. "How's it going? Did you reach him?" Her green eyes, the same I'd fallen for in college, looked at me with concern. That smile, the one that had comforted me through my father's death, celebrated every business success, kissed Ruby goodnight for 18 years, now felt like a mask. "Not yet," I said smoothly. "Just dialing now." Johnson's voice crackled through the speaker. "Morris, been waiting for your call. Madison Avenue, are we moving forward?" Martha bustled in the kitchen, the picture of domestic contentment. How many times had I watched this exact scene? Martha preparing dinner while I handled business. The foundation of our life together. "Absolutely," I managed. "Terms look good. We'll close within 30 days. "Excellent. My client's eager to finalize. Papers should be ready by Friday." Every word felt heavy, as if I were speaking underwater. The conversation about property transfers and closing dates now carried a sinister undertone. Martha wanted to wait until the Madison deal closed. Smart. Maximize assets before filing. Perfect. I'll have my attorney review everything. The irony wasn't lost on me. The attorney I would need would soon oppose my own son-in-law. Talk Friday then. Good doing business, Morris. I ended the call and handed the phone back. "Thank you, honey." really saved me there. She squeezed my shoulder. You look pale. Everything all right? Just tired. Lots of work lately. The lie came easily. 37 years of marriage had taught me to read her expressions, but I'd apparently missed the most important ones. We moved to the dining room. Martha had set the table with our good china, her mother's wedding gift. Crystal glasses caught the chandelier light. Everything perfect, beautiful, false. So, how was your day? I asked, cutting into the roast beef. Quiet. Did some shopping. Called my sister. Another lie. I studied her closely, searching for the tells I'd missed before, the slight pause before mentioning her sister, the way she wouldn't quite meet my eyes when describing her afternoon. Those weekend trips last month. Late yoga classes that left no glow of exercise. New jewelry from clearance sales masquerading as luxury. Ruby called this afternoon. Martha continued. Sean's working on some big corporate case. Long hours. My fork froze halfway to my mouth. Really? What kind of case? She didn't answer. You know how secretive lawyers are about client confidentiality. I nodded, playing the understanding father-in-law while fury simmered inside me. Dylan wasn't working on a corporate case, he was orchestrating the destruction of my family, using my own daughter as cover. Martha reached across the table and touched my hand. You're quiet tonight. Her wedding ring caught the light, the same ring I had placed on her finger in 1980. We had promised to love, honor, and cherish, until death do us part, not until greed do us part. Just thinking about the Madison deal, I said. Big opportunity. I'm proud of you. 63 years old and still making the biggest deals of your career. Her pride felt like acid. She was proud of my success because it meant more money for her to steal. Later that night, I lay in bed listening to Martha's steady breathing beside me. 37 years of sharing this bed, this room, this life. In the darkness, the pieces clicked together. Cold kisses that had become routine. Phone calls that ended when I entered the room. New interest in our financial documents and retirement planning. The signs had been there. I had been too trusting, too focused on work, too comfortable in my assumptions. But now I knew, and I needed an ally. 2 weeks of sleepless nights had given me time to plan. The Central Park Cafe sat half empty on a Wednesday afternoon. Lunch crowd mostly gone. I had chosen a corner booth with my back to the wall and a clear view of the entrance. Ruby arrived at exactly 1 o'clock, her teacher's punctuality apparent. She spotted me immediately and smiled, the same bright expression she had worn as a little girl. Dad, so good to see you. She slid into the booth across from me. Been too long since Justice had lunch. Too long, I agreed, matching her enthusiasm while my stomach churned. The waitress took our orders. Ruby talked about her students, a difficult parent conference, winter break plans, normal daughter conversation. I let her speak, studying her for any sign that she knew about Dylan's betrayal. Nothing. Complete innocence. Ruby, has Dylan been acting differently lately? Her fork paused over her salad. Differently how? Working late more often. Secretive about cases. Says he's working on something big. Very confidential. She shrugged. You know how lawyers are about client privilege. The same story Martha had fed me. Dylan was thorough. I had to give him that. Sweetheart, what I'm about to tell you will change everything. I pulled out my phone. I need you to trust me completely. Her smile faded. Dad, you're scaring me. That night, I had borrowed Mom's phone for the Johnson call and saw something I wasn't supposed to see. Now I showed her Dylan's messages, watched her face shift from confusion to disbelief to something harder. This can't be real, she whispered. Mom would never, and Dylan. I know it's hard to accept. Ruby's hands shook as she reread the thread. 60/40 split, business assets through me. Her mind processed quickly. They're using me. Dylan's been planning to steal from you while I cooked his dinner and believed his lies. I'm sorry, sweetheart. I know how much you trusted him. All those late nights, all those confidential cases. Anger crept into her voice. He's been planning to steal from you while I cooked his dinner and believed his lies. The question is, what do we do about it? Ruby looked up from the phone. Steel glinted in her expression, one I'd never noticed before. We stop them, she said. It won't be easy. Dylan knows the law. Mom's been planning this for months. Then we plan better. She leaned forward. What do you need me to do? Observe Dylan without letting him know you've discovered anything. Document what you can. I need evidence beyond these messages. As for your mother, I'll handle her. But Ruby, this has to stay between us. No one else can know. She nodded firmly. When do we start? You started the moment you believed me instead of defending them. Ruby reached across the table and squeezed my hand. I'm sorry, Dad. For what they're doing. For what? Dylan? Her voice caught. I married him because I thought he was honorable. You couldn't have known. They fooled both of us. Not anymore. She straightened her shoulders. What's our timeline? They plan to file at the end of the month. That gives us 2 weeks to gather evidence and prepare. 2 weeks to save your business and show them exactly who they're dealing with. I smiled at my daughter, feeling genuine warmth for the first time since that terrible night. Ruby, I need you to know something. Whatever happens between your mother and me, you're the best thing I ever accomplished. Tears welled in her eyes, but her voice stayed steady. We're going to win, Dad. They picked the wrong family to betray. She left first, teacher duty calling. I watched her walk away, straight-backed and determined. My little girl had grown into a formidable woman. Now I needed to find out just how deep this betrayal ran. 1 week later, I sat in the sterile office of Chen Investigations, business cards scattered across Thomas Chen's mahogany desk. The private investigators studied my case notes with professional detachment. Infidelity investigations require patience, Mr. Burke, Chen said, fingers tapping a manila folder. Your wife appears confident in her deception. That usually makes them careless. I need photographic evidence, complete documentation. I leaned forward. Money is no object. Understood. Based on these credit card statements, she favors Manhattan locations. The Plaza Hotel appears frequently. My stomach clenched. How frequently? Twice weekly for the past 2 months. Always Tuesday and Thursday afternoons. I'd been reviewing property acquisition reports during those times, completely unaware of the true stakes. What else? I asked. Chin pulled out expense breakdowns, luxury spa treatments, jewelry purchases, restaurant charges for 2 at intimate venues. He paused. Mr. Burke, are you prepared for what we might uncover? I'm prepared to protect what I've built, I said. 3 days of surveillance confirmed my worst fears. Chen's photographs arrived via secure email. Martha entering the plaza with a younger man, their hands intertwined, Mike Rodriguez, the fitness instructor from her yoga studio. 6'2", perfectly muscled, half her age. I researched him obsessively. 28 years old, employed at an upscale Manhattan fitness club, driving a BMW Martha had probably financed with my credit cards. My phone buzzed. Ruby, reporting from Dylan's office. Dad, I brought him lunch and saw the filing documents. Her voice trembled slightly. Property division papers show they're planning to take everything except the house, the business, retirement accounts, even your car collection. Anything else? Timeline notes, in Dylan's handwriting. They're filing March 30th, right after your Madison Avenue deal closes. Brilliant strategy. Wait until your net worth peaks, then strike for maximum damage. Ruby, be careful. Don't let him suspect anything. Too late to worry about that. I already hate him. 4 more days of documentation followed. Chen's team captured Martha and Mike at romantic dinners, weekend getaways to Connecticut, shopping trips where she bought him expensive gifts with my money. The paper trail revealed $3,000 monthly in unexplained expenses, all financing her affair. I spread the photographs across my office desk like battle plans on a war table. Martha laughing with her lover, kissing him outside Tiffany's, entering hotel rooms hand in hand. 37 years of marriage reduced to evidence folders. My secretary knocked. "Mr. Burke, your wife called. She'll be late tonight. Another yoga session." "Thank you, Helen." "Yoga session?" I almost laughed at the absurdity. Martha was probably planning her next hotel rendezvous while I catalogued her betrayals. But knowledge was power, and power was exactly what I needed to dismantle them both. Chen delivered the final surveillance report personally. "Everything you requested, Mr. Burke. Timestamps, locations, financial documentation. Your attorney will have everything needed for court." I locked the evidence in my office safe and called Ruby. Time for another meeting. Central Park, same spot. Sunday afternoon arrived under gray March clouds, carrying the weight of secrets. I reached the park bench 15 minutes early, manila folders tucked beneath my coat. Ruby appeared across the lawn, walking with purpose, her teacher's bag slung over her shoulder. "Dad?" She embraced me, and I felt the tension in her frame. "This feels like planning a war because that's exactly what we're doing." We settled onto the bench. Families strolled past, children laughing, couples holding hands, ordinary people living honest lives, unaware that two relatives were orchestrating the destruction of their own family. "What did you discover about Dylan?" I asked. Ruby opened her bag and withdrew photocopied documents. "Complete asset division plan. He's calculated everything down to your office furniture." Her voice carried barely controlled anger. "They're giving you the house and one car. Everything else goes to Mom and Dylan's legal fees." I examined the papers. 37 years of building wealth reduced to line items in my son-in-law's handwriting. Business property, investment accounts, even Martha's jewelry, all marked for redistribution. "There's more." Ruby pointed to annotations in Dylan's precise script. "Timeline notes show they've been planning this for 6 months, long before you found those text messages." 6 months. While I had been proud of Dylan's professional success, grateful for his legal guidance, he'd been systematically plotting my financial ruin. "Ruby, what I'm about to show you concerns your mother," I warned. "This will hurt." I hesitated. "After seeing Dylan's betrayal, I can handle anything," she said firmly. I handed her Chen's surveillance photographs. Her face transformed as she processed images of Martha with another man, the hotel entrances, intimate dinners, shopping expeditions. Ruby's hands shook. "Who is he?" "Mike Rodriguez. Fitness instructor from her supposed yoga studio." "She's been lying about everything." Ruby stared at a photograph of Martha kissing her lover outside Cartier. "Lying to you, to me, to everyone for months while planning to take half our assets and start a new life with him." She set the photographs down carefully. "Dad, I need to tell you something about my marriage to Dylan." "What is it?" "It's over. After seeing his greed, his willingness to betray you, his lies to me," she straightened her shoulders. "I can't stay married to someone capable of this." Pride mixed with concern. "Are you certain? Divorce isn't easy. Neither is living with someone who treats family as opponents to be defeated." Ruby gathered Dylan's documents, ready to fight the battle ahead. "Besides, we had bigger priorities, stopping them before they could destroy you. We spent an hour coordinating strategy." Ruby would continue gathering intelligence while maintaining her normal routine. I would collect additional financial evidence and prepare legal countermeasures. "There's one more thing," I said. "I want to confront them both at the same time. Let them see exactly what we've uncovered." "When?" she asked. "Family dinner this weekend. I'll invite Dylan and tell Martha I want to discuss family finances." I smiled grimly. "They'll think it's the perfect opportunity to manipulate me further." Ruby laughed, a sound I hadn't heard in weeks. "They have no idea what's coming." "None whatsoever?" She stood, gathering her evidence. "Dad, after this is over, after we've won, what happens to our family? We'll build something better. Something honest." I watched Ruby walk away, stride confident, determined. My daughter had discovered a strength she hadn't known she possessed. And next weekend, Martha and Dylan would learn exactly how dangerous that strength could be. By Wednesday evening, I was in the kitchen surrounded by credit card statements and financial records. Martha hummed while preparing dinner, completely relaxed, unaware that I had spent the day reviewing evidence of her betrayals. "Martha, I've been looking at our expenses," I said, holding up receipts from luxury spas and jewelry stores. "Some of these charges seem unusually high." She glanced over from the stove, spatula in hand. "Hi, how $3,000 a month at Manhattan spas, $500 at Tiffany's last week alone." Her expression remained pleasant, but there was a subtle edge of caution now. "Honey, I'm just taking care of myself. Is that wrong?" I kept my tone reasonable, more puzzled than accusatory. "I'm not saying it's wrong. But shouldn't we discuss expenses this large beforehand?" Martha turned fully toward me, abandoning dinner prep. "Morris, you're making me feel like I need permission to spend money after 37 years of marriage. Don't I deserve nice things?" Perfect manipulation. Turn financial irresponsibility into a personal attack, cast me as the villain for asking questions. "Of course you deserve nice things," I said, softening my tone, playing the apologetic husband. "I'm just trying to understand our budget better. You've never worried about money before?" She moved closer, touching my shoulder. "Are we having financial problems? Should I be concerned?" Another deflection. Now she was the worried wife, selflessly concerned about the family's security. I had to admire her technique, blatantly shameless, yet expertly executed. "No financial problems. The Madison deal alone will bring in $2 million. I watched her eyes brighten at the figure. "I suppose I'm just being overly cautious. You work too hard, that's the problem." Martha kissed my cheek. "Maybe I should cut back on spa treatments. We could both use more time together." Brilliant recovery. Sacrifice small luxuries to avoid scrutiny while presenting herself as the devoted wife willing to compromise. "Don't cut back on anything." I gathered the receipts, pretending to accept her explanations. "You're right. After all these years, you've earned the right to pamper yourself. Thank you for understanding." She returned to cooking, the crisis apparently resolved. "Sometimes I think you forget I'm not just a housewife. I have needs, desires, dreams of my own. Dreams like stealing my business assets to finance a new life with her 28-year-old lover." But I nodded sympathetically. "You're absolutely right. I get so focused on work, I forget about everything else." Martha beamed, clearly convinced she had managed the situation perfectly. "That's why I love you, Morris. You always listen to reason." I watched her finish preparing dinner, noting how easily she lied, how smoothly she had manipulated the conversation. 37 years of marriage, and I was finally seeing the real Martha Burke, the woman who could look me in the eye while planning my destruction. But next weekend, I had a special family dinner planned, and Martha was about to discover that her performance hadn't been nearly as convincing as she believed. 3 weeks had passed since our tense kitchen confrontation. I had spent the time meticulously finalizing evidence and coordinating with Ruby. This Friday morning, I entered our bedroom carrying Martha's favorite coffee, French roast with cream, just as she had enjoyed it for decades. "Honey, I brought your favorite." I set the steaming mug gently on her nightstand. Martha's eyes opened instantly, alert and attentive. "Morris, you're so sweet. I didn't want us fighting over money." "Neither did I," I said, sliding onto the edge of the bed, playing the role of apologetic husband. "You're right. After all these years, you deserve to enjoy yourself." Her smile, the same charming expression I had fallen for in college, brightened the room. "I appreciate you saying that. Actually," she paused. I sipped my coffee, letting the idea unfold naturally. "We should do something special this weekend. Have Ruby and Dylan over for dinner, like old times." Her face lit up immediately. "What a wonderful idea! It's been months since we had a proper family gathering. Saturday evening work for you?" Perfect. I'll make Dylan's favorite, the roasted chicken with herbs he always raves about. I leaned down and kissed her forehead, tasting the bitter irony. You're the best wife a man could ask for. After Martha headed to the bathroom for her morning routine, I called Ruby from my study. Sweetheart, dinner tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Are you ready for this? As ready as I'll ever be. Her voice carried nervous determination. Do you have everything we need? Complete documentation, photos, financial records, Dylan's legal papers, everything. And Mom still doesn't suspect a thing. She thinks she's won our little financial disagreement. Completely confident? Yes. And Dylan? That's my next call. He'll be thrilled to come. 20 minutes later, I dialed my son-in-law's office number. Dylan, good to hear your voice, son. Morris, great timing. I was just thinking about calling you. Really? About what? Oh, just checking in. You seem more relaxed lately. Less stressed about business matters. Interesting observation. Dylan had noticed my improved mood since I had begun gathering evidence of his betrayal. Martha's right. I work too hard sometimes. Speaking of which, how about joining us for dinner tomorrow? Martha's making your favorite chicken. Sounds fantastic. Ruby and I would love to come. Excellent. 7 o'clock, and Dylan, bring your appetite. Martha's planning something special. Wouldn't miss it. Thanks for thinking of us. I hung up and leaned back in my leather chair, surveying the evidence folders locked in my desk drawer, photographs of Martha's affair, financial records of her deception, Dylan's conspiracy papers captured by Ruby. Tomorrow night, my family would finally learn the true price of betrayal. Saturday evening arrived with an unseasonable warmth for April. I arranged wine glasses while Martha put finishing touches on the formal table setting, our wedding china, crystal stemware, everything perfect for what she believed would be a celebratory family dinner. Morris, does this look right? Martha adjusted the centerpiece, white roses from our garden. I want everything beautiful for the children. Absolutely perfect. I opened a bottle of our best Cabernet. This calls for celebration. The doorbell chimed at exactly 7 o'clock. Ruby, punctual as always, stood outside. They're here. Martha practically bounced toward the entrance, genuinely excited to host family. I followed, watching Ruby embrace her mother while Dylan shook my hand with his characteristic confident charm. Both appeared relaxed and unsuspecting, Ruby performing her part flawlessly. Something smells incredible, Dylan said, loosening his tie. Martha, you've outdone yourself again. Just your favorite chicken with those herbs you love. Martha beamed under the praise. Come, let's sit. I opened our best wine and we settled around the dining table. Warm light cast a false intimacy over the scene. Martha served generous portions while I played the gracious host, filling glasses and raising a toast. To family, I said, lifting my glass. To the bonds that hold us together. To family, they echoed, crystal clinking against crystal. Dylan cut into his chicken with gusto. Martha, this is restaurant quality. You should start a catering business. Oh, you flatter me too much, she replied, but her smile betrayed her pride. No, I'm serious. You have real talent for hospitality. Ruby smiled at her mother, then gave me a subtle nod across the table. She was ready. So, Dylan, how are things at the firm? I asked casually, masking the storm that would soon break. Many interesting cases lately, Dylan said, swirling his wine. Busy season, definitely. Lots of family law work coming in. He paused to sip. Divorces, asset divisions, that sort of thing. Must be challenging work, I said, letting my tone remain casual. All those emotional situations? You learn to stay objective, Dylan replied smoothly. Focus on the legal aspects rather than the personal drama. Martha nodded approvingly. Dylan's so professional. Always puts clients first. Family comes first for me. Dylan corrected gently, reaching for Ruby's hand. Everything I do is about building our future together. Ruby's smile stayed perfect, but I noticed her fingers tighten around her wine glass. More wine, anyone? I stood, refilling glasses around the table. We're celebrating tonight. No reason to hold back. What exactly are we celebrating? Martha asked innocently. Family loyalty, I said, settling back into my chair. Trust. The things that really matter in life. Dylan raised his glass. To loyalty and trust. We drank, and I excused myself. I'll get dessert ready. Instead of heading to the kitchen, I walked to my study and retrieved the evidence folders from my desk drawer. 5 manila envelopes, each labeled and meticulously organized. The complete documentation of betrayal. Time to serve the real dessert. I returned to the dining room carrying folders instead of plates. Martha looked up, puzzled, as I placed one envelope in front of each person, keeping 2 for myself. What's this, Morris? Her voice trembled slightly, the first hint of uncertainty I'd heard in months. Where's dessert? I've prepared something more interesting than dessert, I said, standing so I could see everyone's reactions. Evidence? Dylan frowned at the folder in front of him. Evidence of what? Your conspiracy to steal my business assets and destroy our family. I opened Martha's folder first, spreading surveillance photographs across the table like a dealer revealing cards. Martha and Mike entering the Plaza Hotel, intimate dinners at romantic restaurants, shopping trips where she purchased expensive gifts for him. Martha's face went pale. Where did you get these? Professional investigators. Very thorough ones. I turned to Dylan's folder. Your turn, son. Ruby reached across and opened Dylan's envelope herself, revealing photocopied legal documents, asset division plans, timeline schedules, financial projections showing his expected cut from the scheme. How did you? Dylan's voice trailed off as realization set in. Ruby photographed these during her visit to your office last month, I said, smiling at my daughter. She's been very helpful. Dylan turned to Ruby, stunned. You knew about this? I knew about your greed, Ruby said, her voice cold and unyielding. Your willingness to betray my father while pretending to love our family. You don't understand the legal complexities. I understand that you plan to steal everything he's worked for while lying to me every single day. Martha had been scanning the affair photographs, panic mounting. Morris, I can explain about Mike. No need for explanations. I opened my second folder, revealing financial documentation, $3,000 monthly funding her fare, hotel bills, restaurant charges, lavish gifts for her lover, all financed by my business success. It's not what it looks like. It's exactly what it looks like, I said evenly. A conspiracy between my wife and son-in-law to destroy my life and steal my assets. Ruby stood abruptly, facing Dylan with fury I'd never seen in my gentle daughter. How could you do this? I trusted you completely. Ruby, please just listen. Listen to more lies? She cut him off bitterly. I've heard enough lies to last a lifetime. Dylan reached for her hand. I love you. Ruby slapped him hard. The sound echoed across the dining room like a gunshot. Don't you dare talk about love while planning to rob my father. She grabbed her purse and stormed for the door. Dylan stumbled after her, calling her name desperately. The front door slammed. Car engines roared to life in the driveway. Martha and I were left alone in the wreckage of the dining room. Surveillance photographs lay scattered among the remains of what had been a celebratory dinner. Morris, she whispered, voice trembling. What happens now? I began collecting the evidence folders methodically, my expression calm, controlled, and final. Now you see what happens when you betray someone who actually knows how to plan ahead. Martha stared at the photographs spread across the dining table, each image a damning record of her duplicity. Her hands trembled as she reached for her wine glass, then paused, thinking better of it. Morris, honey, I can explain everything, she said, her voice cracking with desperation. This isn't what you think it is. I moved toward the window, putting distance between us. Outside, the street looked ordinary. Suburban houses glowed warmly. Families lived honest lives, oblivious to the deceit unraveling inside our home. Martha, I've seen enough. Photographs don't lie. But I love you, she pleaded, standing and reaching toward me. Dylan manipulated me, she continued. He convinced me you were planning to leave me with nothing. Dylan manipulated you into having an affair with a fitness instructor. That's different. I was lonely, confused. You were greedy, I said, turning to face her fully. $3,000 a month on your lover while plotting to steal my business. Tears streamed down her face. 37 years of marriage has to mean something. You can't just throw it all away. I didn't throw it away. You did. Every hotel rendezvous with Mike. Every secret conversation with Dylan about dividing my assets. Martha sank onto the couch, surrounded by evidence of her betrayal. What do you want from me? What will it take to fix this? Nothing can fix 37 years of lies. They weren't all lies. I did love you once. Once, I echoed. The word hung in the air like a sentence. Enough to feel, but never enough to remain faithful. Never enough to protect what we built together. She picked up one of the surveillance photos, herself laughing with Mike outside Cartier. How long have you known? She whispered. Since February. Every hotel visit, every extravagant lunch, every lie about yoga classes. Why didn't you confront me then? I collected the folders methodically, stacking them like a prosecutor preparing for trial. Because I needed to understand the full scope of your betrayal, Dylan's involvement, the legal conspiracy, everything. What happens now? Tomorrow, I'm filing for divorce. My lawyer has everything ready. Martha's face crumpled. Morris, please, give me another chance. I'll end it with Mike. We can go to counseling. The woman I married wouldn't have needed a second chance. People make mistakes. This was not a mistake. This was a deliberate, calculated effort to destroy my life and steal everything I've worked for. I headed for the stairs, leaving her alone amidst the ruins of our marriage. At the doorway, I paused. You should call a lawyer, Martha. You're going to need one. Upstairs, I could hear her sobbing. 37 years of marriage, reduced to evidence folders and legal filings. But justice, I had learned, wasn't always graceful. Sometimes it was just necessary. Monday morning found me in the elevator ascending to the 42nd floor of Williams & Associates. My mahogany briefcase contained every piece of evidence needed to secure my victory: surveillance photographs, financial records, Dylan's conspiracy documents. Attorney James Williams rose as I entered his corner office. Diplomas lined the walls between shelves of law books, radiating professional authority. Morris, I've reviewed the preliminary materials you sent, Williams said, gesturing to the chair across from his desk. In 30 years of practice, I've rarely seen a case this clear-cut. I settled into the leather chair and opened my briefcase. How confident are you about the outcome? With evidence this thorough, Martha's infidelity is documented beyond any reasonable doubt. The conspiracy with Dylan adds another layer of betrayal that courts take very seriously. Williams spread the surveillance photographs across his desk like a winning poker hand. These alone guarantee you'll retain 80% of the marital assets, the business, properties, investment accounts, all protected. And Dylan? I asked. Will he face consequences for his unethical actions? Absolutely. I'll be filing a complaint with the New York State Bar Association, an attorney conspiring against a family member while offering legal advice. That's grounds for disciplinary action. Relief flooded through me. The professional consequences for Dylan's betrayal felt almost as satisfying as the financial victory itself. Timeline-wise, how quickly can we proceed? I asked. Emergency filing this afternoon, Williams replied. Given the quality of the evidence and Dylan's professional misconduct, I expect the court will expedite proceedings. He consulted his calendar. Court date within 2 weeks. Martha has hired representation, Patricia Knox. Competent, but constrained by weak facts. She may attempt emotional appeals, but in New York, documented adultery is decisive in divorce proceedings. I watched Williams organize the documents with precise, methodical efficiency. My daughter Ruby has agreed to provide testimony regarding Dylan's conspiracy, I added. Excellent, Williams said. Family testimony, combined with documented evidence, creates an airtight case. He looked up from the papers. Morris, understand this. This isn't just a legal victory. It's total vindication. After everything they'd put me through, vindication felt perfectly appropriate. Justice would be thorough. Martha would lose her financial security. Dylan would lose his career. And I would retain everything I had earned. Williams began preparing legal briefs while I signed document after document: divorce petitions, asset protection orders, evidence submission forms. Each signature marked another step toward justice. One last question, I said as Williams scheduled the court appearance. Any chance Martha could reverse this outcome? Williams smiled with calm confidence. With evidence this overwhelming? Impossible. The decision is already made. We're just formalizing it. Walking back to the elevator, my briefcase now filled with legal documents instead of evidence folders, I felt the satisfaction of a perfectly executed plan. 2 weeks later, I entered the New York Family Court building with Williams at my side. Across the marble lobby, Martha stood with her attorney, looking diminished, small under the weight of her exposed betrayals. Courtroom 314, Williams murmured, guiding me toward the elevators. Judge Thompson presides, fair, methodical, unimpressed by theatrics. Ruby waited in the gallery, offering me an encouraging smile. She had chosen her father's side decisively, her loyalty unwavering despite the family destruction. The case of Burke versus Burke. The bailiff announced as court convened. Petition for divorce with asset division. Judge Thompson, a stern woman in her 60s, reviewed the case file with professional detachment. Counsel, please present opening statements. Williams rose with quiet authority. Your Honor, we have irrefutable documentation of adultery and conspiracy. The defendant conducted a prolonged affair while plotting, with legal counsel, to defraud the plaintiff of marital assets. Martha's lawyer, Patricia Knox, attempted damage control. Your Honor, this case involves complex emotional factors. My client seeks a fair division considering 37 years of marriage. Judge Thompson nodded, allowing evidence presentation. Williams displayed the surveillance photographs on courtroom monitors, Martha entering hotels with Mike Rodriguez, intimate restaurant meetings, shopping sprees for expensive gifts. Each image struck with the force of undeniable truth. Financial records show systematic deception. Williams continued, presenting credit card statements and spa receipts. $3,000 monthly funding her affair, hidden from the plaintiff for 6 months. Knox tried to deflect. Your Honor, marital difficulties often lead to poor judgment. This evidence demonstrates calculated deception, not poor judgment, Williams said firmly. Judge Thompson interrupted, reviewing Dylan's conspiracy documents. Attorney Grant's involvement adds professional misconduct to personal betrayal. Martha opened her mouth. Your Honor, I can explain. Mrs. Burke, the judge said, you will have the opportunity for testimony if your counsel calls you. But no testimony can outweigh photographic and financial evidence. After precisely 12 minutes of deliberation, Judge Thompson ruled. Evidence clearly establishes adultery and conspiracy to defraud. Asset division will reflect the defendant's betrayal of marital trust. The gavel fell with finality. An 80-20 division favored the plaintiff. Business assets, properties, and retirement accounts remained with me. The defendant received minimal spousal support. Williams squeezed my shoulder as the courtroom erupted in quiet satisfaction. Ruby approached from the gallery, tears of relief glistening in her eyes. Dad, you did it. Justice won. Outside the courthouse, Manhattan bustled with normal life while my world had been fully restored. Martha emerged separately, walking alone toward an uncertain future. 37 years. I murmured to Ruby as we descended the courthouse steps. But the last 6 months revealed people's true colors. She replied. And you, Dad, are exactly who I always believed you were. Together, we walked into the afternoon sunlight, our family bond stronger for having survived betrayal and emerged victorious. Justice, I had learned, was always worth the wait. If you enjoyed this story, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. To hear the next story, click the box on the left. Thank you for watching.